want to say we stand for human rights. So thank you for all of these people here today who are standing for the same cause. So, she already introduced me, so I don't need to do any more introduction. Thanks, Adrian, for that. So, now, today I'm going to be talking about personal power. How do you get back your personal power? But before I delve into that, I just feel I should go into a little bit about why we're here today, and that's elimination of violence towards women, and even towards girls, the female gender. So there's one definition of violence that really resonates with me. It's the one by the United Nations General Assembly in 1993. It defines violence against women as any act of gender-based violence that results in physical, sexual, or psychological harm or suffering for women, including threats of such coercion or arbitrary deprivation of mobility, whether it occurs in the public or private life. And that really resonates with me because what it's saying is you don't even need to be laid hand on to be abused. Even the threats. And then my mind went back to where I am from. I'm a Nigerian first, before becoming an Irish. And I know back in Nigeria, the women are considered as a kind of second-class citizen. So when you don't have a male child, it's like you've not had children. And the man can step out of the house to say, you have refused to give me a male child. And everybody say, well, acceptable. So that comes with this mindset again, when you're raising the children that the man or the boy or the male member feel they are the prince, and they should be treated as such. And a lot of these boys grow up to be men who do not regard the women in the house, their wives, sisters, and even colleagues at work. The alpha males high. I am, who I am, a man. And they go into the society to treat women without dignity. So what happened? It's like, along the line, something was taken away from the woman, even before she had a mind to think on her own. She was already told right from when she's so young that she's not really that important. A personal power, even to think about herself, was taken from her. In some parts of Nigeria, we have women, we have girls. Now, I don't want to even go into women. Girls of 12 years being married off. And one of my friends said to me, they give these girls as gifts to men in marriage, gifts. I think that is not a very nice word to use for another human being, a gift. So when a woman goes into a man's house as a gift, a property, she is treated less than a human. That's my definition. That's the way I look at it. And the man decides what she eats, what she wears, what she studies, where she goes, the kind of friends she keeps. That's one definition. And mobility is limited. A capacity for success, again, is limited. Because you can only grow in the confines of what the man believes is acceptable. So, what mindset would this woman grow up with and also teach her children? That is something that I think needs to be challenged. People are looking into it, and I'm glad they're doing that. So, what does it mean? What do I mean when I say your personal power? Which is inborn. You don't need anybody, to give you the power. I'm not talking of being in a powerful position. I'm talking about this innate ability to make your own decisions, to own your decisions. That's your personal power. And nobody should take that right from you. Nobody should take a right to say yes or to say no. But some people, they don't actually lay hands on women, but they use a very subtle kind of coercion in the home. You need to be aware of such people. They're very, very, very manipulative. When they try to get physical, if it doesn't work, they try to use emotional blackmail. Psychologically, they manipulate you to do their bidding, taking your power from you. Because at the end of the day, what I want is, I want my own decision to be the decision, not what you think. And they use things that they know you love. They use the children. If you leave me, what's going to become of the children? If you leave me, how will they cope? These people sometimes, they are having a kind of financial authority in the house because they put that system in place where you are going to be dependent on them for the finance. You can't leave when you want to leave. And they say to you, how will you cope? What will you eat? Where will you start from? We hold everything together. Subtle form of coercion. But they're taking your personal power away from you. We have to be able to recognize that. Taking back our personal power is understanding our own values. What are those things that are important to me? What are those things that I can't stand? But if you don't understand your own values as a person, then it becomes so difficult to even know when somebody is taking away your personal power. Because our values sometimes are defined by the society, defined by our families, defined by every other thing, but we haven't really come to terms with what is important in our lives. So I think the first step is identifying what is important to you. And what is important to you comes from your life purpose. Why am I here on this planet? What am I doing here? What is my why? That is so important. And let that guide your decision. So that you know when you are being coerced into doing something that is against you, when your personal power has been taken, you recognize it. 2, boundaries. I remember some time ago, and I locked my door because I needed to concentrate on my studies, and some people really got offended. Yes, they want to take the power to actually decide to lock my door. And they got offended because I wasn't helping with all those things I used to help with before. But that's maybe fine, but it wasn't fine for me at the time. I learned to set the boundaries and say to them, I'm sorry that I hurt you, but I needed to do what I had to do. There is nothing wrong in saying no. And that is what a lot of women that I see can't say no. The ones that are abused can't say no. They keep being pushed and being pushed, and they keep taking it. You have a decision to make. You still have the power. It's the power of choice to say no. There is nothing wrong with saying no. Set boundaries. Let people know what your yes is, what your nay is. 2, I know we know one toxic person or the other. We probably met them. We probably sometimes live with some of them. Yeah. Some of us have been confined to living with because of their family. Nothing you can do about it. But because they're family, again, doesn't mean that you have to allow them to influence your decision so much that you feel like you're not living your life again. I remember the time I was telling one of my friends that there's this member of the family that aggravates me so much. This person has a way of really, really saying things that I get so angry, and I lose it. And you know what he said to me? He said, anyone who has that much power to control your emotion has so much power over you. You have traded your power. You have traded your personal power. Because the person is able to control your emotion. So when the person pushes a button, you go off and you start saying things. Two things you can do. Change your reaction to what the person is doing, or leave the relationship. So easy. There are two things you can do. You are not left powerless. You have a choice. Take back your personal power. Another thing you need to do is to forgive. I know that's the hardest thing to do, especially when somebody has been violated so many times. So many times. The person has been violated is in pain, and you still see the violator. But the thing is, forgiveness is not for the weak. No, it's for the strong-minded people. Your reason you need to forgive is so that your life can move on, not the other person. Somebody said, not forgiving, harboring grudges, is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it. It's like killing yourself gently. You must forgive the person. Not because you're going to change your behavior to the person or accept whatever they give to you, no, but because you want to move on. Because forgiveness is like to keep pulling you back, and you're not doing yourself good. What else do you need to do to take back your personal powers? Commit to your values. And like I mentioned before, if you don't know what these values are, how do you keep to them? I know we're not given a lot of time today because I know it's just supposed to be for 7 minutes. So I'm going to be rounding up. But if anybody has questions to ask me, I'm available to take questions. So on this note, I want to tell everybody there's one thing that can't be taken from us. It's the freedom of choice. Whatever situation you find yourself, you still have one choice, which the violator is trying to take from you subtly sometimes, with